Welcome to the Loose and Moose podcast.
I'm Luce.
And I'm Moose.
Two unlikely best friends that I guess love the sound of their own voice, so decided to hit record.
Nah, I'm going to be nice tonight. Yep.
Why?
I feel like I was grumpy last time. Loose, thing of the week. That's you, I think. Isn't it?
Is that how you're going to intro this episode?
That could actually be funny.
Yeah, we can do it.
All right, fuck it. Send it.
My thing of the week is something that happened today. I had a whole different one planned and then this happened and I just want to talk about it. You've never experienced this thing that happened to me. I don't think so. I had a photo shoot and I did all my makeup all perfectly. What?
Just instantly, I'm like, I've never had a photo before. But you forget that I was in a band, right?
So maybe you have experienced this then. Anyway, what I was going to say before you so rudely interrupted.
Sorry. That was very rude.
No. Yeah, so I had a photo shoot, which, yes, you've experienced a photo shoot. We love that. Supermodel Moose. But no, I wore makeup, obviously, and I feel like I have a way of doing it for a photo shoot to make sure it stays good. But that doesn't really help when you go to the place where the photo shoot is and it's like a big metal box and it's like 35 degrees.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, where we're at the moment is ridiculously hot.
Yeah. And I thought I was going okay. And then at one point I looked in the mirror and I was like, my makeup had like separated. So my skin goes really red when I'm hot.
Yeah.
So obviously you put the makeup on and it's skin colored. So then I just had these like patches across my cheeks where the makeup had completely slipped off and it was just this bright red skin underneath. And this is like a thing where anyone who wears makeup has experienced this before. They 100% know exactly what I'm talking about. But you've never experienced that phenomenon.
Hey, I've had a bit of a makeup stage as well. Come on. Mainly eyeliner. Like, I didn't go too much on the cheeks. But
Did you actually wear eyeliner back in the day?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God.
That fringe. You can't have a fringe without some eyeliner.
Yeah, I don't think I've noticed
I
that
got
in
some
photos
polish.
though.
I got everything.
Did you do it yourself?
Yeah, but then like my hair straightening story, I definitely got other people to do it as well, and I just sit there and have a drink and get them to do things.
I think you need to find a photo where it's a bit more obvious that you're wearing eyeliner. I need to see that.
I got a really, really good one that I will find and put up, but it's of Dimmy and me. And it's just like this 2-photo thing in his lounge room, and it's absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I'll find it.
Cute. Back in the day when I was a bit of an emo as well, like I definitely used to always think that it was like so hot when boys wore eyeliner because it's like, oh, they're like different and they're being like rebellious by saying like, fuck the norm, let's wear eyeliner. And I don't know, that used to be really cool to me.
Yeah. It'd be funny. It'd be like, you'd come home from work or whatever I was doing, kitchen hand or whatever, and it'd be already late at night, and then you're getting like ready, and then like I remember coming back, you didn't want it on for the next day, so then like you're trying to get rid of all your nail polish and that. It was just like, that's how cool it was. It's like, I want to be cool for 3 hours, but then like I can't do it tomorrow when the sun's out. Dad's gonna see me.
It'll be embarrassing. Oh my God, I can't wait to see this.
The funny thing with the heat story, and it relates back to band days. So we were on, I think it was the end of a tour. We did like an East Coast tour in Enolas, and we finished in Melbourne, and it would have been like, the 8-hour drive back to Melbourne or whatever, right? So someone in the band had an idea that we would play Hotbox the whole way home. So it wasn't like today's weather, but like van, 6 dudes, probably 7 would have had someone with us driving and stuff. And we've literally had the heaters on the whole way home while we're driving from Melbourne. Disgusting, right? I don't know how we even lived. And I remember rolling back at home, and then Lauren come out to greet us like when we got there, and she's like, what the fuck is that smell? Like, imagine 7 dudes with the heaters on from Melbourne. Who thought that was even a good idea? We've just played Hotbox on purpose the whole way from Melbourne to Adelaide. Gross.
I have so many questions. What is wrong with men? Why do men do stupid shit like that?
I think of it now, I'm like, that's so dangerous, because it would have been like, yeah, you were saying you were dehydrated after doing that. I'm like, why would we do that?
Yeah.
And who was driving?
A woman would never do that.
And it was probably after a night of like, you would have played and partied as well. So everyone's like probably dehydrated anyway. Like, fuck it. Let's just like, drink Red Bull and put the windows up and put the heater on.
Yeah, like you needed a Powerade and a nice like cool flannel on your forehead, and instead you did that. So who Oh my God, I have so many questions. Who even thinks to do something like that? Is that like a thing that you would do?
I reckon it would have been Brendan, our guitarist. He was, hopefully he's listening, but he had some ideas on him.
Because I'm thinking like, the way you spoke about it is like, that's just a thing people do. We decided to do a hotbox. Like, as if I'm supposed to know what that means.
Yeah. What do you think the heater's for in your car?
So you just drove with the heaters on and like, what, the whole time you're like, oh, it's so hot in here. Fuck, this is awesome.
It was like a sauna, but it's a car. It would have been a high event as well. Imagine dropping that back.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Fuck.
I can picture that smell.
Yeah.
That like sweaty boy smell.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, yuck. Lauren stayed with you through some pretty bad times. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
She's a good one. She's a good one.
Yeah. She really persevered for the glow up.
Yeah.
Good on her.
Eyeliner fringe would have been at the time. Like, what a catch.
You get out the car and your eyeliner's like all dripping down your face.
Maybe I have had that thing. I just didn't know.
Your like fringe is like stuck to your forehead, all sweaty. Yuck.
Oh, that's gross.
That's so gross.
Speaking of cringes, my thing of the week is a little cringy.
Oh, stop it.
So, like, we've got a new coffee shop near the new place that we're working now, right?
Yeah.
So, you know me, like, I think I'm hilarious and everyone loves me and, love my conversations and stuff. So I just, like, thought it's a bit cringy and surely other people have had this. But, like, when you're at cafes and stuff like that, and I feel like we're, like, our jobs are like customer face stuff, right? So I feel like there's like a customer code and like we get it when retail workers or hospos or whatever, like I try and be overly nice because I know what that's like. But do you ever get to the point, like I had this thing where we ordered all the stuff and it was a huge thing and I'm trying to be like, sorry, we're so annoying and blah, blah, blah. And then I was trying to make small talk about like our new store that's coming. And like, she just like looked at me in the eyes as if like, she's like, why the fuck are you telling me any of this? And like, didn't even answer my question properly. And I'm like, what about those times where you do that at a coffee shop and stuff like that, where they're just like probably not even trying to be rude, but just trying to move on. And I'm sitting there like trying to have this amazing conversation, think I'm like about to brighten her day up. And she's just like, fuck off.
Because we've all had that customer that is telling us their life story.
That was me.
You're like, okay, cool. Your total is $12.95.
Yeah. Can you play piece? It's like,
but then you've also had the customers where they've made your day by telling you like cool shit.
Yeah.
So that is cringe if you think that you're one and you're actually the
other.
I
know. And I'm thinking it was this amazing thing, like, start their day off nice. And I would have been that customer in her brain, like, can this dude just shut up?
Oh, no. But I feel like you wouldn't. I think that's on her. What were you saying? You were just telling her cool stuff about
I was just like trying to be like, thank her for that. And hey, we're going to be in the center soon. And like, just stuff like that. She's going to be stuck with me soon anyway. So, you're going to have to start laughing at some point because I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, this is your new local?
Yeah.
She's going to be like, oh, him again.
There we go. Cool. I have to give someone else the card to pay.
That's so funny.
It was just like one of those moments that I'm like, I've had them a lot before where you do that. And like, it's funny. It's kind of like, did they not hear maybe or something like that? I'm telling myself that, but I'm sure. But anyway, it was just one of those ones where I'm like, it just stuck with me all week. I'm like, okay. That didn't land how I thought it was going to land.
Maybe I'm not as funny as I think I am. Oh, no.
No, and being not on the pod, I couldn't even just edit it out. I just had to live with it. I'm like, oh, perfect. I guess
carry the microphone around.
Yeah. So next week's meeting is at McDonald's.
Oh, that's so sad for you.
Yeah, that's okay. You miss every shot you don't take, I guess. Oh, says me wearing the Kobe top. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Nice.
Anyway.
Speaking of what t-shirts we're wearing, for our listeners, I'm wearing my Taylor Swift Eras Tour t-shirt and some cute friendship bracelets that I made for the tour because...
Tour, when's that?
I just got back from Melbourne. It was on Sunday night. Today is Wednesday and I'm still not over it. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I can't stop thinking about it.
I'm giving you 3 minutes. You've got 3 minutes to make us all jealous.
What do you want to know though? Because like...
Okay.
I'm not going to... 3 minutes.
Yeah, no, okay, we won't cap it. Stupid question, but was it all you thought it would be?
Yes, and more.
Yeah. Yeah,
like I didn't quite comprehend because when you watch it on TikTok, you know what's happening, you know like the set list, roughly, but like you can't comprehend the grand like scale of it all, especially at the MCG. Like
I feel like I forgot it was going to be at the MCG.
Yeah. like you look up, and because I was on the floor seats, so then you look up all these layers of people with these light up bracelets on,
So good.
and the bracelets are lighting up for like what era it is. So it's all blue in 1989, and I feel like I was like a little kid just looking around in awe the whole time. Like it was just so like breathtaking. Like that's the only word for it.
I'm like, I don't know if we spoke about this, but I just love the structures of stadiums.
Yeah.
And like you saying that, my brain went straight to like, you were literally on the MCG.
Yeah. Yes.
Not a lot of people go on the MCG.
Exactly. Like people have kicked goals where I was sitting. Like
Right?
people
Coxie
have
won a bloody premiership there 3 months ago.
Yeah. And then that's the other thing I was thinking, because I really wanted to see Mason Cox.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, he is sitting here at the Eras Tour and he's looking around like, yeah, I've experienced this before. Like I won a premiership on the ground here. Like,
yeah.
How wild that's your job to just, I don't know, all these people cheering for you.
I thought that was amazing because a lot of the Collingwood boys went.
Yeah.
And for them to be so excited on their posts, and they were all posting like it was their last time on the G was the grand final, because obviously season hasn't started. Yeah. Have you also heard the Mason Cox story about being there?
Oh, about him being too tall?
Yeah.
Just retell it, because I definitely have, but retell it for our listeners.
So good, because I thought someone was taking the piss. I saw it and then I watched it on the news. But and then the other story when he's found the people. So he was obviously tall. He's our ruckman, and he had two very short chicks behind him, and he was like putting out a petition to see if they could find who was behind him, so then he can like give them like a backstage thing for a Collingwood thing at the G, and like just make up for it. And they found them super quick, but it did go pretty viral, and it was on like, I don't know, The Project or something.
Yeah, because everyone was like giving him a bit of shit for like, well, why didn't you offer it to them on the day? And he was like, I just didn't think about it, and it would be legit, because I was so overwhelmed by everything that was happening. Like I took a video of these people in front of me because they were just so adorable, and I wanted to send it to them after. I just, like, when it was over, I just didn't even click. Like, I fully understand that. But also, did you see the photo of him in the crowd? Like, he's like,
it's ridiculous.
It's just, you would have been really shit if you were behind him.
But then I was thinking, when I saw that photo, I'm like, all right, fair enough if he's like, hey, do you guys want to come here? But then it's just got to be like, where's he going to stop? Like, he ends up behind the goals.
And exactly. Like, there's nowhere he can be. Like, no seat in the whole entire arena is okay.
No.
Unless he's at the very, very back, but that's not fair.
No, because he's a massive Swiftie as well.
Yes, exactly. Like, he deserves that. But like, it's like, can you just maybe crouch down or something, please?
Yeah.
Like,
all right, next question from me that I was intrigued with. What was your, because we spoke about it on the episode about like our favourite albums. What was your favourite era on the night? Or is that a hard question?
It's so hard because I keep thinking about all the things that I loved. The Reputation era was just so fun. It was so like, I put it on my Instagram story and I was like, it's bad bitch time.
Yeah, I like that.
Just the way it like introduced, and it was just so like, just so dark and cool. And it was like just as the sun was setting. So that whole section was just badass.
It's kind of like they got that intro from a certain podcast intro on YouTube. If you haven't seen that, go back to that episode.
Yeah.
I was low-key very proud of.
Yeah, that was really cool. So if you can believe it, being there in person was even more badass than your intro. Like, just.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. I'll let you go nuts in a second. But you made a really good point that all of your videos and anyone that posts, like, I like how the show went for so long, and it went from like, daylight seemed like it was very good weather, then into that like really cool sunset, and then into dark. Like, how cool. It's like,
so cool. We got so lucky with the weather. It was like 26 degrees. So, warmish when you first got there, and not too cold at night.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And like, it's going to apparently be raining in Sydney, which would be maybe cool to experience a show in the rain. But like, I'm thinking about how long it took to get like a tram back to the hotel. Like, doing all that in the rain would not be fun.
Especially with everyone with all their like dress ups and stuff like that.
With
like,
my big cape.
Imagine by the end it was just like a wet
That's
rag.
Speaking of like what I wore, like, I don't want to sound like conceited or whatever, but one of the highlights was how many people came up to me and spoke about my outfit, because it's just so like I don't know, this feeling of like so much pressure since you get the tickets of what am I going to wear, and you think, oh, it's not a big deal. No, it is a big deal. And then like putting all this effort into it, and then thinking, is it even going to work out? Is it even going to like, are people going to understand it? And then I had so many people go out of their way to come up and tell me that they loved it, and it just worked out so perfectly. And like, I just felt like a fairy princess, and like, it was just so fun. And I just think that added to the whole experience.
Yeah.
And then also having so many girls come up to trade friendship bracelets was so cute. That was a highlight as well, like just the community of it all.
Yeah. It's bigger than just a show.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely, I feel like Reputation, and back to your question about the best era, Reputation, but also 1989 was a really cool vibe.
Nice.
It was just so fun. It was towards the end and everyone was just like having so much fun. But I think I've decided my highlight song was the All Too Well 10-minute version. I think something came over me and I just spent the whole time like screaming the lyrics. Like I think I had my hand on my chest and I was just like, oh my God. Like it was just so, I don't know. It just hit. I love that so much.
Yeah, no. I was going to say, I feel sorry for our mutual friend that went with you, but.
Yeah. I mean, there was something funny that happened. I'm pretty sure the two boys next to me were filming me.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, because there's this meme about folklore girlies and how they're crazy. And the meme is like, there's no bad seat at the Eras tour except next to a folklore girly. And I had my full folklore outfit. And when it started, I started screaming because I was so excited. And then the guy next to me was like, oh no. And then him and his mate started like whispering to each other. And I swear he got his phone up and he showed like the TikTok to be like, this is what I'm talking about, this meme. And then I swear they were filming me after.
Please reach out if you are that.
I know, like I'm not even offended because I swear I looked and I was like, are you, like I saw the camera lens pointing to me and I think then he quickly stopped. And I was like, I'm not offended. I just want to see the footage, bro.
You're cooked.
But yeah, can't even put it into words. It was all so amazing. So sorry you didn't get to come with me, but we could still go to Sydney.
Yeah, well, aren't we winning some?
I'm just manifesting it. Like I think someone's going to reach out and give us some tickets to Sydney. I don't know who or how, but there's someone's going to recognise we just dropped our Taylor Swift episode.
Right.
They're going to be like, Taylor's going to see that. Taylor's going to be like, are you coming to Sydney? Why not? Oh my God, I'll fly you over. Don't worry.
Hey, I'm ready. Bags are packed.
Yeah.
Outfit's ready.
Yeah. What would your outfit be? I've already been thinking about what outfit you could do.
Fuck.
Because boys' outfits are like, you got to have like a niche reference. Like, did you see the Oliver Mills guy who won the 22 hat?
No.
He dressed up as that like famous clip of Jack Antonoff when they're riffing about the Getaway Car lyrics and he's wearing his yellow t-shirt and a blue cap. He got the exact t-shirt and hat.
That's cool.
And it was just like iconic.
Yeah.
But then I think the best boy costume I saw was so from the lyric Great American Dynasty about she stole his dog and dyed it a key lime green.
Yeah.
So it was a t-shirt that said feuding with Rebecca because Rebecca is the woman that she's singing about. So he's the neighbor. And it said in a feud with a neighbor, she stole his dog. So then he was holding a dog that was key lime green. I feel like that was pretty iconic. So you could do something like that, like a real niche lyric.
Thinking about just dressing up as her partner in full NFL uniform.
Yeah, there was a lot of Kelsey jerseys there.
I saw a lot of dads actually posting some videos and they all had those t-shirts on, which was cool.
Oh, one more thing. Sorry, we can move on. But one more thing is there was a dad there and he was bald and they bejeweled his whole bald head. It was amazing. He just was covered. We'll have to put a photo up because it was so iconic.
What does bejeweled mean? Like putting like things on there that stick on there and it's like all like fake jewels?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just confirming.
Actually, sorry, one more thing before we move on. Would you like a friendship bracelet?
Do I get to choose which one it is?
Well, actually, you can. Yeah, you definitely can. I did make one specifically for you, but you can still choose.
No, you go.
Well, I kind of made two for you, actually. So the first one says Loose and Moose Pod. I made that in case I met Mason Cox because I was going to give it to him and be like...
Or anyone famous.
Yeah, actually anyone famous. True. Actually, yeah, I probably had a better one I would give Mason Cox. That's a bit more...
That's not a bracelet, was it?
A bit more, yeah, not really safe for work. There was no beads with numbers on it. So then I made something else. Anyway, also I made you this one that says goat.
Yeah, that's cute. Do I get to keep them or like this is just for the camera and then after you're gonna like make sure I give them back before I leave? Just watch and see if I'm wearing them next week's show.
Yeah, are you even gonna wear them now?
Oh, do I get to wear them now? Yeah.
Do you want to wear them now?
Well, I want to keep them, so now you can't take them off. All right, we're on.
It's so sad.
With my daughter's cute little ones that she's made as well.
Yeah,
so
they are really cute.
Yeah.
Collingwood colours.
Yeah, and Lakers colours.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, cute.
But they fade because I haven't been wearing them in the shower. You probably don't do that, right?
Yeah, probably. Oh, I don't know.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
I did see that in the video, and I'm like, that's really cool. So.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm so sorry to disappoint you that I didn't meet Mason Cox. He was in the. It looked like on his photo he was in the exact same section as me just the night before. How sad is that?
Sad, but I'm like, could you imagine if it was that close? Like that could have been the story. Just would have been wild.
It would have 100% been like the cringe of the year because I would have ruined that moment.
Yeah, it's like a part series. Like it's a 4-part podcast to actually get the.
Yeah, I definitely would have embarrassed myself.
Yeah. Hey, footy season's about to start, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of Coxie talk.
I just go up to him and I'm like, "You ready to fucking cop it, Coxie?"
Surely you've seen the pod.
Oh,
I love it.
Anyway, you also went to a really big show recently.
Yes, finally
How
got out of the
was it?
house and dusted off the fringe in my black t-shirts. It's good.
Your first gig in how long?
Very long, very long. Yeah, it was nice. So yeah, we went to Blink-182, came to Adelaide, which was also like, it was just so amazing. So they had Rise Against with them as well, which for a support band, like that was awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And that was here in Adelaide in the Entertainment Centre, and obviously, you know, with them getting back together, it's funny because we bought those tickets, like, not that it's a ticket story like yours, but I remember buying them, and it was back in 2022 that they announced those tickets.
Yeah. It's wild, isn't it?
Because I'm sort of like, oh, it's only, you know, start of next year, and then I'm like, hang on a minute, it's the start of next year.
Yeah.
But then it just came around so quickly.
Yeah.
But no, I loved it. Like, and I think like for me, like just like there's so much I loved, and we'll get into it. But like just Travis Barker, like,
yeah.
And it's so good. Like you say, yeah, and like most people, you'd name the drummer, and they'd be like, what?
That's so true.
Like, I was going to ask you and be like, how did Matt go at Taylor's? Because I follow him on Instagram, and it's so good because you get like all this stage stuff. But you'd be like, I don't know who the fuck Matt is.
Yeah, sorry.
And he's just drumming for like, you know, the biggest pop artist of our time. But yeah, Travis Barker was just like you know how good he is, but then I guess Australia's never really seen a lot of that because he hasn't toured with Blink. They've always had like fill-in drummers. But it was just like absolutely cooked. Like I'm glad I don't really play drums anymore because you watch someone like that and I'm like, there's like, why do you even try now?
Yeah, I fully,
And they're a 3-piece, and the way that like he just brings them together is crazy. But I think like the thing that I loved is like they actually were good. Like normally when you review like a Blink concert, you'd be like, oh, they were funny and, you know, just doing jokes, and Travis was good. And the rest was like, they were just playing their songs way too fast and doing stupid jokes, and they sucked.
Because they're kind of known for that, right? Just being like, whatever.
But like you said glow ups before, I'm like, it's like they're not aging. It's just like they are so, you can tell the chemistry is back. Like they're so thankful for them being back together. They played 27 tracks. Like they joked around, and I thought they were hilarious. Like we were actually seating, which was amazing because I could just sit there and watch Travis and don't have to worry about people jumping up and down in front of me. So it was amazing. But I was just sort of sitting there and I'm like giggling in my chair. Like it's just ridiculous. And they were ripping on like Perth, who they played before. And that's funny. I saw some stuff from Melbourne and they were ripping on Adelaide. I'm like, it's just so good. It's like typical Blink where they're just like the night before, they're just like absolutely teeing off.
I love that. What did they say about Adelaide?
The Adelaide one was actually pretty cool. Like I won't do it justice, but it was something like how we're so like entitled because like like we're half an hour behind Melbourne and stuff. Like it was all around like the times and shit. And it was just shit like that, which like in the moment, you know, a couple of drinks and you're just sitting there. I'm like, this is just so good. But it was just really cool. Like it was just nice as well. Like, and as you said, I haven't been to a lot of shows, and like there was a lineup. Like we got there quite early, and we were lining up for ages, and like you could tell it was a big deal, and it was like the biggest show I've seen at Entertainment Centre, like easily. Like floor was completely packed, and it was just cool. Like I saw so many people from like band days. It was like all of our band was there, and it was cool. Like heaps of work people. It was awesome.
It seemed like all of Adelaide was there except for me. I was so sad I didn't get tickets.
Yeah.
Do you think that you could pick a highlight song or highlight moment, or is that too hard?
There was a highlight song. So it's off the new album, and it's like the first song that Travis has ever played double kick on in a Blink song. So for non-drummers out there, that's where both of your feet are using the kick drum, and it's like mainly in metal songs, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that blew me away as a muso is like I always get like really into the show, and like with them being super tight, you could tell they were sort of playing to tracks, and it was like there was a lot of low end, and to do that as the drummer, they're always playing to like Taylor Swift's drummer would be playing to a click track because all of their lights and everything's obviously like if you fuck one beat up, the whole show's broken.
Yeah.
And there was a point in this song that's like it's super heavy and the double kick's going, and I'm just sort of sitting there, I'm like, it's just 1 second away from like this whole show being like completely cooked. And the light show they used was insane, like to the point where sometimes you'd have to like look away because it was too much. And I'm like, imagine playing that with all of the pressure of everything. I'm like, it's just, I was just so impressed with how like heavy it sounded. Like I know that sounds weird to say Blink, but they sounded heavy.
That's
like
cool.
Tom's voice was a little cooked from Perth, but it kind of made it sound good because it was like super raspy and
Grungy.
yeah.
That's
So no, some of the new tracks were really cool. Where normally you see bands that have reformed and you're like, I just play all the shit that I wanted you to play, right?
Yeah, like just the hits.
Yeah.
Just like feels a bit cheap almost.
Yeah. But no, I was blown away. It was an awesome night. It was just nice to see them. Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but is it possible that you can explain to like a non-drummer what they're actually hearing in those tracks?
It's pretty full on, like, because we used to play with it as well, and it's quite daunting as a drummer. So like when bands record and stuff, like obviously some bands, but especially massive bands, when they're playing stadiums, they're just playing to like a click track or a metronome, we call it. And it's literally like you can change what it sounds like, but most of the time it's just like some form of a click.
So just a metronome, like literally, because I used to play piano and had a metronome. So that's what they just hear.
Yeah, obviously then they they'll get a mix where like if you were the vocalist, I'd have like a little bit of you in there and a little bit of Tom's guitar and whatever you want to hear. But since they're driving and counting everything off, like lights are set up on it, any backing track set up on it, and so like it will give you like a 4 count and then you literally start. So if you fuck that up, everything is going to be out of whack. Like the lights wouldn't be the same, like all the pyro and all those sort of things are all to the track.
So say if you missed a beat or somehow whatever the terminology is, can you skip something else to get back to it, or is it not really like that with drums?
I guess like that's your only option. Or the sound guy would like, I guess, turn it off and have like some manual sort of override where they would be then pushing the buttons to make it work. But like that's the pressure of doing that. And that's why the studio is so hard, because once people turn a click track on, like the spotlight is literally just staring at you, and like the beat is always going to be correct. And it's that like you want to get a really nice feel so it doesn't sound like a robot, but at the same time, you know, with the amount of layers that music has these days, like you have to be on it. So I hated it for so long, and that's purely just because I was scared of doing it.
Yeah,
because it's a
scary.
Learned skill, which you'd know from piano. Like, like you can't just be like, especially as a drummer, like, you know, when you're younger, you're so much like lazier, and like you'd have a couple of drinks so you'd play faster, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's pretty full on. So yeah, once you get to know how to play with it, it's pretty cool, and it's a skill. Like you wouldn't get a gig as a Taylor Swift drummer unless you were absolutely amazing at that, right? Like you could be the best drummer ever, but if your time fluctuates, that's not what a pop artist would want.
No, definitely not. And especially like you're talking about, I never even thought about that before with the lighting and stuff. That
Crazy.
You could stuff up so much, or even like Taylor. Have you seen on TikTok? There's that part in the show where she like she's like stomping on the stage, and the stage is like cracking.
Yep.
And like imagine if that wasn't to the beat or something. Like it just what's the point of this whole effect thing if it's not perfect?
Yeah.
That's so true. Or the fire that comes out, like
crazy.
You know, the fire. What if that came out off beat? What? Yep. What's the point? Oh, that's so wild. Why have I never thought about that before?
Anyway, silly question, but has Taylor now just taken best concert ever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legit. Like I knew it would. I had a feeling it would, but it was just so next level that I can't even explain it.
Yeah.
Like if we woke up tomorrow and it was like it was actually all a dream, you didn't actually go there, it's not real, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense, because it would seem just like too perfect. Like I loved it.
I can't wait to watch the documentary. It's coming out in a couple of weeks on Disney,
so
good. I'm on.
Is it coming out in cinemas or just on at home?
No, at home.
Oh my god! So
legit, it's on
watch
Disney.
it at your house.
Yeah.
Yay!
So
Moose has a really big TV, and cool vibes, and
yeah, I'm ready.
Everyone needed to know that apparently.
That's when you can do the cute little wristbands with Ella.
Yes.
Boom.
Yes.
All right.
I said that I missed the opportunity to make friendship bracelets with Moose's daughter.
Yeah, she would love that.
And then, yeah, of course, we can do that.
And if we don't swear now, no, she'll love that, because I'll actually be able to show her like a 10-second clip of the pod, because she always wants us to have a kid's version.
I can't wait to make friendship bracelets, Ella. We'll make really cute ones.
Hey, honey. Now switch off. What about, okay, so getting away from Taylor. Any other amazing concerts come to mind?
Yes. So before Taylor, I feel like there's a lot of standouts. Like in the other episode where we talked about concerts, I said that one, the Big Day Out with Neil Young, was a standout. But then there was seeing Jack White. That was a standout because he's been so iconic for so long. And
he had that one song, right?
there's actually, he's got like some, you would like his the album with Lazaretto, like banger.
I just like how your voice went like, motherfucker, what?
Anyway, yeah, Jack White was awesome. You would have loved it. If you knew what was good for you, you would have loved it.
Now I'll edit out that first bit so it just makes you look mean then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, cool.
Go on.
Awesome.
Harry Styles. Did I say that already?
No, but I've actually been listening to a lot of Harry over the weekend. It was awesome. Hot outside, kids are in the pool.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there reading a book and just had that on.
Yeah.
Great.
Such a good vibe. I loved that show so much. Every time I see Foo Fighters, it's just such a fun time. And I feel like it doesn't feel special, like I want to mention it because I've seen them so many times now. But if you took that out of the picture, like they actually are so good every time you see them.
Classic. The best rock band, I would think, going around.
100%. Also had like a bit of a niche one that I wanted to bring up from years ago. Did you ever listen to Cut Copy?
Yes.
I just remember one time going to see them at the old HQ, and I don't know if it was just the state we were in, like me and my housemate, like we were in a rush. So we like sculled like a bottle of Passion Pop each, and we get to HQ and whatever the opening band was, nobody was up dancing. It was like dead. So we just went and started dancing, and then all these people joined, and then we were like right in the middle for Cut Copy, and it was just like a dance party, and I was just cooked. And it was so fun. And then they came and partied with us at Supermild after.
Yeah, nice.
And I just was like, this is the best night of my life.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I think I was like 18 or something. And yeah, that I always just remember that night. Also a bit of a niche one from last year was cattle decapitation.
Doesn't sound scary at all.
Yeah, I know. They're the first like big international metal band I've ever seen, apart from like Metallica, but I don't think that really counts as a metal band.
Oh no, they've just got metal in their name.
True.
You can't get more metal than Metallica.
True.
Well,
but they're like the pop artists of the metal world, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I go to see heaps of local metal stuff, and I've never seen like a big metal band. So that was just really cool because they were like very like polished and professional. And I remember not being sure if I should even go because I had no one to go with, and I just went by myself. And I just felt so happy while I was there. Like he's like literally screaming about, I don't even know, because I think they're called cattle decapitation because they're vegan, and it's like I think they a lot of their stuff they sing about is like vegan and the environment and stuff. So I don't know. And I just remember feeling like so happy, even though like I'm just like watching some like middle-aged dude scream.
I don't know if you've seen it yet, but by now it would have already aired. But the hallucination stuff that I did in the episode a couple episodes ago. So if anyone out there hasn't seen it, and if you haven't seen it, you should go back because I was very proud of the metal logo. It's fun.
I'm so excited.
And I learned this new little editing technique where I've like pieced it together so it kind of looks like it's behind us.
So you've made my band a logo. Okay, so I have a band name, I have a logo, I have a concept. I just need band members. So if anybody's keen, I'm ready.
It's funny. There's like music shit to it. I've shakes the screen and stuff. It's fun. So anyway,
I'm so excited.
Check it out. It's pretty funny.
Anyway, what about you? What about your memorable shows over the years?
I was thinking about this, but you've also inspired me for another one. So I'm going to start there. So my first like heavy show that was not in Mount Gambier when I grew up, we went to Melbourne, and it was funny because they were all Adelaide bands with Alexis on Fire. So it was the first time of like getting into that, but it was like Prom Queen from Adelaide, Hot Lies, Mere Theory with Alexis, and it was in like this small club in Melbourne, which we then got to play years later, which was so cool. But that was my first like into like the hardcore scene, and seeing it live, it was just insane. I was like scared because there's shit going on, but then I'm like just loving every moment at the same time.
So cool.
So that was cool. We spoke through my America trip, on a couple of episodes ago. And I was so lucky I went to a show when I was in America. So I really wanted to do that. I wanted basketball, I wanted a show, obviously Disney and the rest of it. But the show was kind of like very niche, like one of yours. So it was John Five, who's now the guitarist of Motley Crue. But at the time he was in Manson and in Rob Zombie, and I was obviously a massive fan of both of them. Like I've bought this dude's like signature guitar, and I'm a drummer. Like it's just, I don't know, I've just like fell in love with this dude. He's like a guitar god, but then he can play like the most simplest stuff, like those sort of rock bands, but his style is just wild. And he plays anything from like heavy metal to country to jazz. He's just like one of those guitarists that can play literally anything. It's just like, why do I even want to play music when you've got like people like this that are just amazing? But the show itself was pretty full on because it was in this weird place. There was like a jazz club in New York. It had dinner involved. I think like in the ticket you got dinner, and so like we're kind of having dinner, which was cool because I'm sitting there having a steak and a scotch or whatever. But then like the show's starting to start, and I'm like, this is like a huge guitarist, and I'm eating dinner, and they're about to go up and just shred our faces away while we're doing it. So it was just the weirdest thing. And it was also when he was starting out as a solo artist, so it wasn't even that big. And for me, I'm like, you know, this is huge. Like I've seen, you know, him and Manson headlining all of the shows here to tens of thousands of people, and now I'm like 10 meters away eating a steak watching him play guitar. It was just the weirdest thing.
So random. And were you by yourself as well?
By myself in the States doing that. And yeah, like post show where you have that post show like giddiness of like, this is amazing, and you've just got no one to talk to about it. Like I'm just walking around. I remember getting like a huge pizza because I'm in the middle of New York, and you know, went into a bar, had another drink, and then catching a subway, get home to Lauren and like Ella, and that would have been asleep, and I'm just like just wanting to talk about this thing. It was just the weirdest night, but it was so good.
Actually, you can keep going with your, I'm sure you have other faves, but like just quickly, do you get like that post show adrenaline where like I've been with friends where they say they're like heaps tired and want to go to bed, and I'm like, I'm ready to party like every time, no matter what show it is. Are you the same?
Fuck yeah. And as a kid, like, and again, shout out to mum and dad for allowing this, but like if I went to a show like that, and especially when I was younger, and if my kit was set up, I would be so inspired that I'd want to go home and fucking smash my drums.
Did they let you?
Sometimes, or at least like I would do it enough until like the couple of minutes where they come down being like, it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, are you kidding me right now? I don't know if I've ever told you the story, like when I was like, you know, a teenager and probably deserving to get in trouble, and like probably wasn't allowed to go out to it, you know, a night out on a Saturday, and then I'm like, nah, fuck them, and then just put like headphones on and started playing drums until they come in the room. Could you imagine a kid doing that? Like, I get pissed off at my kids because they like, you know, yell back at me at the house and slam their door, and here's me like, you know, smashing the kit, absolutely going nuts on a proper acoustic kit.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they're built different.
What happened? Like they told
they'd come in like a couple of minutes later, and like, you know, then I'd eventually stop, and I'd like throw my shit away, and like, you know, probably then go to my room and turn the music up and put my eyeliner back on, and away we go.
all that angst. You're just like straightening your food, like fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. I'm turning this thing hotter than it's ever been. And then I guess the only other one I was thinking of is I wanted to think of like a local one. So I'm not sure if you've heard of the Adelaide band Lowrider.
No.
Amazing band. Started off like they're just like a bunch of amazing musos. Like no guitar in the band. There's like bass, keys, drums, and a phenomenal singer. And a couple of them were brothers. And I was just always I've known them from the muso scene, and I was just like blown away. Like they're just amazing. Could play whatever and make it sound cool. And then they did their own stuff. It was like real funky but pop at the same time.
Cool.
And we went to like a little secret show of Hilltop Hoods, and no one knew, but I rocked up and I saw a drum kit. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it had Lowrider on it. I'm like, what? And I was with Dimmy at the time, and I'm just like, they end up being like the live band for like this secret Hilltop show. And it was at the Gov, tiny little venue in Adelaide, and it was just amazing.
So you didn't know. So you were a fan of them and you were just going to see Hilltop Hoods, and then it happened to be a band you're that's cool.
And it was amazing. Like they did a little bit of stuff together before that, but just to see like live hip hop was so cool. And the chemistry, like it was two different bands, but it was just amazing. They had some covers in there, and it was just awesome.
That's really cool.
It was cool. It was really, really cool. I think it was a free show as well. Like it was just like some random like warm up gig or something that Hilltops did.
Do you remember roughly what year it was? Because I feel like I have memories of Hilltop Hoods saying, "Oh, free show and stuff." Like often. Yeah. Because they'd just play all the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they were the thing of like the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah. It'd have to be around then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But that was cool. So that's a couple that like I was trying to think of like other than just big day outs or big shows. I was kind of like, that's two other ones. And then you inspired me with Alexis when you were kind of talking about. Yeah. All right. Enough of like the good concerts. I would love to know if there's been some like some horror stories. Have you got a worse concert ever?
When I was thinking about what we're going to talk about for this episode, I remembered this iconic story my dad told me. I've never experienced anything this bad, but back in the day, he said he went and watched Bob Dylan, who
Wow.
Bob Dylan is iconic, right? Apparently, he did not say one word the entire show to the audience at all, and then just randomly at the end just said like, praise the Lord, and then left the stage.
Wow. I kind of like, not that I know heaps about Bob Dylan, but like I remember the Desire album my dad used to play it all the time, and then like the Hurricane song and the Hurricane movie and stuff. There's amazing shit. But like I was watching a doco actually and he was in it, and I'm kind of like, that just seems like a bit of his vibe. Like his stories are like, sorry, his songs are like stories.
Yeah.
So like for him it's like, I'm saying everything I want to in this.
I guess.
You guys don't deserve any more than that.
Yeah.
It is weird though. I guess like we're so used to a lot of talking these days. Like we talked about me going to blink the other day. Like imagine if they said nothing the whole time.
I know.
That'd be the weirdest.
I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
At least just say like, thanks for coming, or
Yeah.
hey, how are you going tonight, guys? And
Especially with long songs as well. Like wouldn't you want to break it up a little bit?
yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah. It's not a worst show ever, but just speaking of like, when you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like when I thought it was going to be the last chance ever to see Neil Young, and was so lucky to go see him at Big Day Out, because he was saying last tour ever of my whole entire life. And then he, I don't know, a few years later just decided to just tour again.
Yeah.
And then I saw him a couple of times, and one of the times I saw him, like it was like, wow, he really just thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants now because he's Neil Young. And it was just like, I swear he was just like playing guitar, like, you know how they do they go off on the tangents in the songs and it's like they're just jamming. I swear he was jamming for like an hour, and you're like, can you get back to Heart of Gold, please? I just like, I want to sing along.
Yeah. It's nearly bedtime. Come on, Neil.
Yeah. Anyway, what about you? Can you think of a worst gig ever?
So this is a funny one because I loved the gig. But again, it's another Lauren story. I'm so sorry. But should I make up a different name for her? So my ex-wife's story. No.
Ex-wife Laura.
Yeah, Laura. So we were at Deftones, Thrice, and 18 Visions. Like 3 bands that we loved. Like absolutely loved.
Yeah.
It was at Thebby, and unlike us too, like we were literally front row, which I don't never do that. I normally hate crowds, and it's like I want to be back further. That's why I play drums, so I didn't have to be in the crowd. I could actually be on the stage. Anyway, so we're front row, right? Thebby, packed, watched 18 Visions, that was great. Move into Thrice, like I loved Thrice, I thought Lauren thought they were okay. And then into Deftones, and like they're very similar bands, like, heavy, but can also get like, very atmospheric and do those sort of things. She just fell asleep in the fucking show. Thrice and Deftones, asleep.
In the front row?
In the front row.
No, that's not true.
It's true.
That didn't really happen.
It really happened.
No.
Yeah. Like obviously we're talking like micro stuff, but I'm sort of looking over. Like, I must have been like holding or whatever. I'm like, is she fucking asleep? She's like, yeah, I thought it was like boring or whatever. I'm like, it's fucking Deftones. Like, they're still like one of the bands from that era that if you ask most rock metal fans that everyone bonds on. Like if you want to like bond and you want to like, oh, I don't want to say a band. If you say Deftones, most people are like, all right, cool. I fuck with that.
I went to see them last year at Thebby, and that was
so good.
Amazing.
Yeah. Didn't fall asleep? No, perfect.
I still can't believe that's real.
Yeah.
How long was she asleep for?
Oh, I don't think it would have been very long, but it was like, she was ready to fucking go. And I'm like, fuck, they haven't even played like 3 tracks yet.
How do you even fall asleep standing up as well? That's a special skill. That's amazing.
I guess like leaning on me, leaning on the front. I don't know. Anyway.
That's so funny. Imagine being them playing and you're singing and then you look down, oh, that bitch is asleep.
I'm just like cuddling her across like it's my kid.
You're like, no, she just has her eyes closed because she's so into this song.
Yeah. Sorry guys, it's a school night. Can you guys hurry up? Played My Own Summer already.
That's hilarious.
What about interesting concert stories?
I put this in here for you, and it's a bit of a weird one, but it's just because I have an interesting concert story. I have 2 actually. I remember one time. Huh?
Of course you do.
Of course I do. You put the timer. How much time have I got?
1 minute per one.
Okay, 1 minute for this first one is at the old Fowlers. So like the corner stage in Fowlers. This band from America called Waves. They're like surf rock, indie rock. I don't know. The singer just like randomly halfway through a song was just like, hang on a second, and just started vomiting on the stage. And then everyone's thinking like, oh, maybe we'll like stop this then. But he just like vomited, and then the band just kept going, and he vomited, and then he just picked up back in like the chorus and just kept going like nothing had happened.
Oh. Wow.
How wild is that? And no one cleaned it up or anything. They just kept going.
Boom.
Yeah. Like
The guitarist forgets and just slips over it.
legit.
Fuck.
I just remember that being pretty cooked. And then this is more about me, but back in the day, I saw Block Party at Thebby. I was like only 16 or 17 or something. And it gets pretty sweaty in the Thebby.
Mm.
And I had this like singlet on, and I remember like at the start of the show, it was this baggy singlet that like went below like my jeans, like loose fit, and then it got so sweaty that my top actually shrunk, and I was like coming out of the show, and it was like I had a crop top on.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't know that was a thing that could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently I was that sweaty that it did.
That was like the old big day outs. Like, not that I went in there very often, but when you like sneak past like the boiler room or whatever, and you would just like pop in there, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like I was drenched in sweat, and I feel like I used to do that a lot. I didn't want to be
Yeah.
like in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you need to be drenched in sweat? It's fine.
Yeah.
You can just like have a good time kind of at the back a bit.
Nice. I was more thinking for when like we played bands. Like, it's funny now, like when like you say like we toured or whatever, like obviously when bands say that they tour, they're paying for it all themselves, right? So then like
Yeah.
the funny thing would be like we'd drive 8 hours somewhere and you're playing to pretty much just like the person that we brought with us in the van. So it's like the highlight is the hot box on the way back to Adelaide. So I'm like, that was just humorous because like you would have to just like, one of the best things with being in a band is like it's like our relationship, like you're just like hanging out because we're fuckheads. So it's just like you were just creating your own fun, like hence why you did stuff like that, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I guess we spent heaps of money and played, to a couple of people and let's go back to Adelaide now.
Yeah.
So funniest and saddest in one.
Yeah, kind of sad. That's not even really funny. That's sad.
It's just like having band practice,
Yeah.
8 hours away from your house on a stage.
Aw.
Ah, it's all right.
The hotboxing thing, I'm still not over that. I think
Yeah,
that's why
that's
I
fine.
can't concentrate on anything else you're saying.
We should do a podcast, Hotbox.
That's not even funny. It would be actually kind of funny because I think when I get really hot, I get grumpy. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
Grumpy.
Oh, shut up.
Okay, cool.
The one time where I thought maybe I've met someone organically was like a bit of like a movie moment where one of like my favorite bands ever, Slowly, they're a Melbourne band, and every time I see them, it's like they're like singing into my soul. The opening band was a band I never heard of, but I saw them that night and they were really cool. And then as I'm like waiting for Slowly to start, the guy next to me was the bassist from the opening band. And I was like, oh, hey, you guys were really cool. I haven't heard you before. Now I'm like your newest fan or whatever. I made some kind of a comment. And then I felt like he did like a double take and then was like, oh, hey, what was your name? And like, I don't know. I just felt like we vibed. And I was like, oh, this is cute. And we were vibing back and forth, but then he kept, he left to go like crowd surf and stuff. And then I was like, I was just imagining it. We weren't vibing. But then he like came back. And then I was like, and then we were vibing more. And then he kept chatting to me more. And then like I had told him the song I was like really excited to hear. It's like a really like emotional, deep song. And he's like, yeah, me too. And then he disappeared again. And then just as that song was starting, he like popped up next to me and he was like, just take it in. Like as in like, this is your moment. And like, yeah, it was like really like, oh my God, is my life a movie right now? Am I the main character? And like back and forth vibing the whole entire night. And then he disappeared at the very end. And then I was like, never got his details, anything at all. Like, don't even know he told me his name, but I couldn't remember it. Like, yeah, nothing. And then I told my friend about it. And as we were walking out, I was like, oh my God, there he is. And then I was like, oh my God, he's talking to someone I know. Like, this is perfect. We can go up. And then I went up and like, he just acted like he didn't know me.
Aww.
It was so weird. I was like,
The story was just going like this. And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, get up, right up. And then he was just like, oh yeah, hey. And like we were just like standing in a circle chatting. And I was like, this is so awkward. It's like,
Bye.
he's pretending that whole thing didn't happen. And then like, he said to everyone, I've got to go like pack up now, and walked away. And like, so then I was like, okay, this is my only chance. He doesn't even live in Adelaide. It's fine. I was like, oh, before you go, can you send me that video you took? Because I did say to him at the time, oh, you need to send me that after, because he took a cool video. And I'm like, this is it. This is my moment. And then he's like, oh yeah, I'll airdrop it. I was like, damn it, airdrop is like, I don't want your number, bitch. Like, I'll give it to you this like the least like committed way I can. I don't know. And then I actually added him on Instagram because the band tagged him on something, and he followed me back. But like, that's literally it. We've never spoken ever again. So I have no idea what was actually going on there, if I imagined the whole thing or what. But like, even my friend was like, no, I thought you guys were vibing as well. And then also she made a really savage, funny joke. Because when we were leaving, I was like, oh, my weird thing where I have freak out about stuff that doesn't matter. I was like, do I carry my jacket or do I wear my jacket? What looks cooler in case I see him? And then when we were leaving, because like I was carrying my jacket when we were leaving, and then she's like, it's probably because you didn't put your jacket on.
Yeah, I fucking love that. That's my kind of shit. Who is this friend? I want to meet her.
Yeah, it's Rachel.
Cool.
You met her. She's savage. It's so funny. But yeah, that's my funny concert story for you.
Not that it was a funny, or probably back to the interesting one where I didn't have one, but you telling that story, it's not a love story, but we were lucky enough to win a band comp, and we got to play Taste of Chaos at the Entertainment Centre. And story like that, like, you know, we're playing with fucking all these American bands, and we're just like this little side band. But for us, it's like insane. We're playing literally the Entertainment Centre. I went out to watch, I don't know, I think it was Kill Switch, or like this amazing band. And I like next to me, I had the drummer from The Used. Just watch it. I'm like, oh, okay, fuck. Like, play cool. Airdrop me your number, please.
Yeah, because what do you do? Like, you have to say something. Did you say anything?
Yeah, I think I just would have went like, you know, like, I don't even know what I said, but I remember like trying to introduce myself, and it was funny because he only just joined them. He was a newer drummer at the time, so it was cool because like he wasn't that recognized from a lot of people, but as a drummer, I knew who he was. It's just funny when you see people like that, and it's just like, oh, they're also fans of watching these bands and probably just don't want to be backstage all the time. Or some of those bands may not let people watch from backstage, and they just want to watch a show. It's just like, what do you do though? Because it's like that awkward moment of like, do you actually want to say something? Because like, there's 20 other thousand people that probably want to do that, but they also would get that all the time. So you want to play it cool. And I think with that, I'm just like, I'm watching the show and I'll let them do their thing.
Yeah, like it's cringe when too many people go up to them. Like,
and what do you say anyway?
Yeah.
You're never going to say something cool.
Yeah.
No.
You're never going to impress them. Like, no
they've
one's
heard
ever
everything
have a cool
before.
thing to say, right? Like, it's always going to be like, oh, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Oh, by the way, I can't believe that you don't talk about playing Taste of Chaos like every day of your life.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Like growing up, to me, I never got to go because I was too young. Well, I don't know. I lived in Whyalla, whatever. But I was always like really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then the fact that you played that is epic.
It was cool because all of our friends that were in bands at the same time, like all of us got to play it. So it was just like, it was actually really cool because like everyone wanted to do it, but there was multiple comps, and it was just funny. It was awesome for my parents too, like them coming up from our hometown to come and watch like us play Entertainment Centre.
Yeah.
I think I've told you before, but the only thing that sucks about that is that was before the phones and cameras and stuff. So like my memories are just literally my memories. Like
yeah,
there's
for
no,
all
like,
no, you could just be making this up. We've got no
right?
proof.
Exactly. I'll see if I can find the poster and I'll put it up.
Yeah, please.
I've just edited it in our name.
You are getting really good at Photoshop.
We're actually open for Taylor Swift last week too, so I'll put that up.
Anyway, what about if you could pick an artist, dead or alive, that would be your absolute dream concert? Do you know what it would be, or is that too hard?
It is too hard, and I think like thinking about this, I'm like I could think through every genre and pick one, but I actually went like I went metal. So for me, I'm like, I would love to see Pantera as Pantera. And I'm like, we were talking about this with someone the other day, and I'm like, that's so like crazy. Like Pantera was such like an iconic band, but then you think about it and like their guitarist got shot on stage. Like that's just fucking crazy when you like remember back to like Dimebag Darrell literally died on stage.
I actually didn't know that. What? That's wild.
Wild. So when
was that?
Pantera split up for a bit, they did like a side project, which is Damage Plan, because the two brothers was the drummer and the guitarist. And they were like one of the biggest rock bands of all time, obviously. And yeah, on stage, literally like a dude in America went up with a gun and was, doing some things. And like there's footage and stuff of it. It's horrific. But just to think like that seems like just such a made up story.
Yeah.
And I was too young when they come to Australia originally, and they were just like such a influence on me, like playing wise, and they're just such like a huge band. So
Wow.
and then I guess the other ones I was thinking of is like those humongous festivals in like Europe and stuff, like Leeds or Reading or stuff like that, just to have like those 3 or 4 day festivals, because so much more of the bands go to there than they would like ever come to Australia, because it's so easy for them to go to Europe, I guess.
Yeah, I always wanted to go to Glastonbury and Coachella.
Yeah. Coachella would be massive.
How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Maybe we can go next year. We'll take the pod there or something.
They're actually doing a bit of that now, right?
Yeah.
At festivals, they have like the little pod tents where people can actually go in and sit on the little bean bags and do like a live one.
Yeah, Coxie did it last year.
Yeah.
I think it was Beyond the Valley. So we'll start at Beyond the Valley, get some practice, and then we'll go to Coachella the year after.
Manifest,
maybe.
please.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. What about you? Have you?
Nirvana.
Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah.
Didn't even think of that.
That would be like just, unheard of. Like that, just so iconic you can't even imagine it. So that would be me. Yeah.
That's a great choice. They're just,
And then, but you made a good point about like Coachella and Glastonbury. That would be amazing. I've never been to a proper camping festival. I did one that was in Kangaroo Island, which was cool, but I don't think it really counts as much as the real big one. All right, to bring it home, I think you've actually kind of already alluded to this a bit, but I want you to do a deep dive. I think that I know the answer, but surely now you going to concerts, being a muso and actually being a performer changes how you perceive concerts, because you've already mentioned things that I've never thought of before. So I take it away. I want a deep dive.
Like absolutely, and not in a bad way, because I'd never go in there and judge anything, because like they're there and I'm in the seats. You know what I mean? But I think like being a drummer, like I've always got the drum focus 100%, like on like sound, on even like how they play things from the record live. Like there's some stuff that you're like, I've played like this forever, and then I was watching Travis and I'm like, oh fuck, I've done that wrong for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. And then one thing I've always loved is like how people build like the themes and like the energy of the show. Like I'm very interested in like the set lists and stuff. Like I don't know if you do this, but like I watch I've researched like setlist.fm or whatever the website is, like when bands do their thing, purely because like I like that. And then when you're there, it's really cool because it's like a movie, right? You know, they're going to start strong, you know, they have their little middle part and then they come back out, which I was telling you with Blink was so different because they finished on One More Time, like the slower song.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, that they've got recently. And then like that was kind of cool to walk away. And I kept saying that to Lauren, and like she doesn't really care about stuff like that. I'm like, oh, isn't it so weird that they finished with like a song like that?
Yeah.
Where normally everyone goes out like all guns blazing, and it was just really cool dynamic. But for me, it's I'm so intrigued with it, and it's funny. Like if you ask someone, like if we listen to a song now, you know, like some people, if we're like, oh, can you hear what the bass is doing, or you can hear what the keys and stuff, like some people just don't think like that because they don't know what that even means.
Yeah.
And I think when you have an ear for it, like it just changes.
Yeah.
It absolutely just changes. So, I love it. Like it's very interesting to sort of sit back and just admire some stuff. And then sometimes like when they do some things, I'm like, wow, that is actually insane. And you explain it to someone that doesn't get it. I'm like, it's just like, you know, you've got such an appreciation for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then doing it, like we mentioned before, to a click track or a light setup, or to 20 or 96,000 people for Taylor Swift. Like, you know, imagine drumming for her. Like that's a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're leading that whole band.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I kind of like that with the drums, right? Because it's like you have to have that steadiness for the band, right?
I do. That's one thing I do notice is you can always tell if the drummer's a bit too quick because everyone obviously has to follow the drummer. Yeah. And it's a bit cringe when you're like, oh my God, slow down. Yeah. And it happens like I think obviously the more practice you get, the better. But I feel like a lot of openers, you notice that they do that. Yeah. It's like, oh, just doesn't feel right here.
Yeah. And as a drummer, like it feels weird. Even when you play the click, like it feels even more weird because if you've had a couple of beers or you're just up and about and then you chuck the click on and you're like, I feel like I'm playing so slow.
Yeah.
But then like you watch the video back, you're like, oh no, I'm just playing it like it normally would play.
Yeah, because is it that you would get excited so you'd just start playing quicker?
Yep. So if you don't have the like click track, it's just natural. And then if like you're catching up to every other, like the guitarist or the bass player or the singer, like if everyone's in a different mood, I think like that's why I liked the click, because another thing worse if you get off stage and you were in the band and you're like, oh Moose, you've played way too fast. Like you'd actually feel like you just fucked up the whole show.
Yeah.
So when you do it to click, it allowed it to be just more the same every night. Doesn't matter how anyone felt or if they were drinking or whatever. So
What about like if you didn't have that, the click in your ear, have you ever stuffed up the timing and your bandmates are like looking at you like, what are you doing?
yeah, like heaps of times. Even when I was like more studying as well, because when I was doing my diploma of music, like when you were playing a lot of different genres and stuff, it's a pretty yucky feeling because then it's kind of like, all right, well, how quickly do you speed back up? Or like, how do you get out of those moments?
Yeah.
Because like your point before of like, you can't just like, stop, start.
Yeah.
It's, it's not a good feeling when you've lost time.
Yeah. Do you know what though? It is endearing if I ever see a band that is pretty big and they fuck up.
Yeah.
I've seen like, it's more like Australia big, like Triple J kind of bands. And then they laugh like, whoops, let's start again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I love that. They're like human.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Which I guess like you have to do it at that. And I think like when you're not at that stage, you're just like, you don't have the confidence to own it as much.
That's true, actually. Yeah, the bigger you get, the better it is
Yeah,
to make
because then it's like, oh, wow, But like for them, you're like, oh, fuck, they are a shit band. I'm going back to the bar.
Love it. I feel like I want you to keep talking. We'll maybe do more episodes and you can like teach us all the little other behind the scenes stuff. Anyway, that's a wrap on today's episode. We'd love if any of you guys went to Taylor Swift or Blink, you could go into the comments and, I don't know, tell us your favourite part or just talk about it. And then, hopefully we can go to some concerts soon.
Together, maybe.
Together!
Yeah.
Yay! Thanks, guys.